Okay, so yeah, we are just gonna delete those levels. There's no need to have that daily that we had there, or sorry, the hourly, the daily here. We're gonna keep as it'll act as a backside trend here. Again, this is gonna break, and that'll be that. I'd be quite shocked if this ended up holding the move up here, this level, which I don't think it will. But we can keep it there as some break levels, but really we're not using it for any information anyways. It's not really important. And yeah, so rebuys are always going to be based on time frames. Everything we've talked about with RA as of lately is pretty much everything that it's going to be to do with rebuys. So like even here, you can have a 4 hour level. We can add this. I don't even know if I'd go for this 4 hour level. I think I would go for this, and I don't even think this is going to stop it. But I just want to add this just in case. And I'm just going to put it as a dotted line to indicate that it's a potential break level in the future. I really just use dashed and solid lines, but here I'm just going to use dotted. So it brings to my attention. So I look at it and say, okay, what's that? Because I don't want to make a mistake here. So yeah, rebuys all connected to timeframes that we look at in RA, and how we define, are we going to buy a daily because a weekly rejected and time frame down. It's literally the same thing as a starting point, and that's important to define as a starting point. So like for example here, um daily level being hit. Now, I don't think this is personally going to hold, but we're going to do it right here because this is the situation that we're in. um we are testing this um, daily level right here, and it's as simple as that. You've got, yeah, we don't have anything else. We can assess rebuys in the moment if they happen, if we dump this move because we're getting pretty close. But for now, we just have to go with what we have. So daily level automatically going to just look for the four. So the first thing we need to do is create a 4 hour level, which is here. In order to create that 4 hour level, we've got a little bit of work that has to happen before that. So we know a few things from this. So as the number one thing, when we rebuy, we have to kind of define what's going to happen with that trade. So if you were to rebuy this, you already need to regain the 4 hour for the future. So that's going to be like kind of like almost your first point of resistance, right? Like that's rejection as a target is a very important concept right now in this trade. And we have 22 minutes left. So we are likely going to create this as our 4 hour rejection as a target, or to get over that and to continue the move, or we are going to simply keep having blue candles and keep moving down, blue candle, blue candle. And this actually isn't the level, but for now that's what we have. We have the 4 hour level. So in order for us to gain that, we also need to kind of gain the information up top. So like you can do a couple things here. Number one, you can start to have combination levels. So like this right here, you can start doing your combo levels like this and engineering what that looks like, right? So engineering the hourly, which is going to be important for this as rejection as a target. So this is going to be important for the next step. If in the scenario where we hit this and then we come back here, it's going to be important to try to hold this hourly, or maybe even a 15 combo to the hourly so we can regain that hourly. So you've got a few different levels here you need to mark with this. We've got the 15 hourly, the 4, and that at least gives us a spot to deep dive the hourly, right? Because if you were to use this has rejection as a target, you can deep dive this hourly, hit this 15, and then go and reverse that hourly in the future in attempts to regain that 4, because that's really going to be the first stage of your rebuy. And this is, I want to clarify, this is rebuy staying in a target. So you've executed your rebuy. You want to now stay in your trade because you think it's going to be position trade. If you were to just sit here and say rejection as a target and you bought trend, there's your trade. It's 92%, it's done. So that's a definition you have to make right as you enter this trade. Like even go to a 5 minute candle here. Like, yeah, okay, fine. You hit the level here. Great. Like, is this your exit target, or are you trying to hold further, right? Like if you're trying to hold on further, then that's fine. Now we need to go and start engineering the bottom side of this, right? So you need to start engineering your hold levels, and hold levels and engineering hold levels with a daily here. It's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be pretty tough. And I'm going to go under the assumption that you haven't entered a trade. So what could you do right now as a rebuy, right? Like what could you possibly do right now as something where you're sitting here and you're saying, oh, sorry, lost audio there. Okay, we're back. So now you're sitting here and you're saying, You've got the hourly level here that you have to gain. You've got a 15. What time frames do you have to start engineering to get this rebuy? Well, you know you're rejecting the 15 right now. And this is a big part of where we can start to pick up on where we need to rebuy a target, because we're going to staircase this theory down all the way. So 15 is going to be rejection as a target to the hourly. And then if you go down to a 5-minute level here, you've got this, which will hold it. And now you're starting to actually build something where you can see rejection as a target will hold based on offsetting these time frames, because you have to find the time frame. And I'm just going to use this term again, that disconnects all of this information. So daily level, we need to gain the 4, right? So the 4 will hold the hourly. So the daily is offsetting the 4 is offsetting the hourly can deep dive to the 15. So they're all kind of connected, and you have to find which target or which part of this chart will be disconnected to the highest time frame hold levels you have. So that's really important to realize that the highest time frame you have possible, and to disconnect those theories to see if it is moving up or down. Okay. So now I'll explain that today as well as in the next lesson, because we are going to go over this in great depth. But right now we can see 15 is rejected as a target. What can offset that is your 5. So you really need to start looking at your 5-minute and engineering from here, because this will offset. Almost imagine this as like a Pandora's box of sorts. If you have a 15, you know that you need to offset it by the 5. And if you can't hold the 15, the daily can't even reach the 4 hour, then you're just kind of dead in the water, right? So like your 5-minute here is really where you're going to be looking for your rebuy. Um, the 3 is disconnected, right? Because you have a 5 here. In order to gain the 5, you'd rebuy the 5 and you'd want to hold and reverse the 3. So that would act as your trigger to this trade. So then you have a 3-minute level here. We'll use pink. Yeah, we always use pink for the 3-minute level. You have a 3-minute level here. I'm going to use this dotted line to indicate it's a reverse, and you have the 5-minute here. So you have the 5. You need to test that. That's the wick and body, but you can see how they are disconnecting. So I think rebuying the 3 might make the most sense here. But let's go look at the 1-minute charts. And you don't really have anything on the 1. The best case scenario, I don't even think you have any trends here. No, you don't even have any trends yet. So your best case scenario here is a rebuy on the 5, because you have this, which can hopefully create the 5-minute. And can it be the 15? It can be the 15 as well. Can it be the hourly? It can be the hourly. Can it be the 4-hour? It can be the 4-hour. It can be all of these things, but at first it's probably going to be a 5. So we're just going to go here. This is the lowest time frame we have available, which we're starting at here, because if we hit down here, we're going to create this 5-minute time frame first, and that will potentially replace these levels as our deepest 5-minute level. So now you're starting to get a clear picture of a time frame that we use, because this is specific to comparative analysis, where we work time frame up. We're not really working time frame up. We are just finding the current support while the other time frames develop. So we're not working time frame up to find these. We'd actually reset our process here. If this holds for the rest of the day, we'll reset our process to the hourly or the 4, and we'll go and find that level, what makes sense. And that realize that hourly, right? And this goes all the way back to your RA. That hourly will be akin to this 4, because if you hit this 4 as rejection as target, you come down, you end up holding this hourly later in the day. You know your 4 hours is going to likely break, and if it can't, you have to get out of the trade, because then you have like this huge stigma from the 4 to the 1 here. So this is where building time frames up during rebuying is extremely important. And it's all about your time frames being able to be disconnected, connected, being able to see what they're doing, right? So like a perfect rebuy here would be your 5-minute, because in order to get to this 4 that's being offset by the daily, and it's all meta work from the higher level, because you are hitting a daily, so you are going after this 4-hour. If this 4-hour holds it, well, you know that you're going to lose your daily. So that's quite simple. In order to get to this 4-hour, you need a 1-hour target somewhere. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to hit this hourly target as rejection, go down, hit this 5 right here, because this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. We're going to hit this 5. We're then going to, where's that reach point? We're then going to make the hourly trend here. After we make that hourly trend, we're going to hit this 4-hour. Maybe we're going to deep dive it a bit here, or maybe even here to create some kind of bigger origin. And I'm not going to look at the other time frames, because I'm just really kind of designating out a few possibilities. That 4 is going to lose. And if this hourly holds, then you've got a reason to move up through this 4-hour and regain this as your hold level, and whether you're in a position trade from the daily and you wanted to trigger out there on this 4 collapsing, if you want to trigger out there, you can, or if you have a different 4-hour level, or if you just want to end up taking profits, you can. And that's perfectly fine. But this is where you need to see what your master time frame is. And here it's the daily. Your master time frame gives you your target to gain, right? So rejection as a target, which is your 101 theory here, rejection as a target. So your master time frame gives you the rest of your rebuy information you need. So again, right now, we know that because that's going to happen, if the 4 hour is what we need to gain, we need to create an hourly level somewhere. And that's what we need to look at rebuying long term. So the first rebuy we can define on this trade is the hourly level. Now, again, I'm thinking it's going to be trend here based on how this looks. I'm thinking it's going to be trend, but again, it could also be this level. It's just they're really tight. They're really close together. You could also use this as the 4 hour, and this might be the level that you need to gain. So please be aware of that possibility too here, since this is currently going to be an origin when it tests. So that's another scenario here. So you actually have two 4-hour levels. So let's be very mindful that there's two 4-hour levels that can hold this down. Just because you gain this one, right? Your range starts from here. That's where your range trend is going to get created. Just because you get above this one doesn't mean you can't create range trend here to here. And it doesn't mean that this can't be the 4-hour level that breaks this down. And then you have to look to buy the appropriate level. So like you have to make sure you're seeing all those possible scenarios there, because you do have that. And this is your range here, right? Like, and you even have maybe a range trend here on some other time frames. It's just the hourly. So you do have an hourly range trend here, but I wonder if you could create something bigger. You really can't here, can you? No, there's nothing there to create. So really, you're just stuck on that hourly time frame then. And that's really where you're going to engineer your rebuys off of, because at this point, you really need to be looking at this 5-minute level, because you know that that's going to be what gets you the 15, which gains you the hourly, which gains you the 4. Now, let's say this was an hourly. We're going to change the script a little bit here. This was a 15, right? This was a 5. All you would be doing is now, instead of looking for the 5-minute rebuy here, you would be looking for what can offset that. So you'd now be looking for the 3-minute rebuy here. So then there's a few different rebuys that can be engineered from this trade. You'd be looking for this here, which had already happened, by the way. You hit your 5, you dropped right to your 3. That was a perfect entry. And you might be too late to enter this 5 here. This test of this 5 is going to offset this. So like really a 5-minute level will be great here. We really want to see a 5-minute level hit. So your first rebuy, and I don't like using the 5-minute level. So like if we were to go back here for a second and we were to say, well, the rebuy kind of happened, like, oh, look, you have your 5-minute levels. You ripped up to this. Is there a 15-minute target here? There is, but you really want to, because that's supposed to be an hourly. So this is supposed to be an hourly. That's supposed to be a 15 that you gain. And that's the thing, is gaining this level, right? So you could even step back here and say, like, you did test that 15 minutes of gain. So you did have your 5-minute rebuy already. And that's where you would have got your first rebuy here. And you'd be in a trade right now in the same scenario. So this is potentially like your rebuy target was already hit on this 5, but that's fine. We're not, trying to engineer the rebuy in this second. Then the next rebuy we need now, it exists. Okay, I got to change these time frames back. They kind of broke on me here. 4-hour rejection as a target. Let's add this here. We've got 11 minutes still. So that'll be interesting if this doesn't turn into rejection as a target, because in the next 11 minutes, we kind of push up another 36% here, or 40%. Then we'll see like where the real 4-hour target is, because then it's either here or here. And at that point, I would just go for the higher target there, right? And then so we're going to change this one back to your hourly. Hopefully this ends up being the hourly as well. Although, you're pretty thin right now. Like you've still got 11 minutes and you're only at, 9%. So then, another possibility here is comboing to this or to this. Like we'll just leave it here, but you could also combo the extra, $24 here. What is that? 61.8 to 57. So $23.9. I believe that's right, math. You could also combo to that. You could reverse to here as well. So 4-hour hourly up there. You could also hourly backside here. I think we really need to see what's going to happen in the next 11 minutes. So there's no urgency to see what hourly level is what here. You could have backside, front side. This could just be rejection as target here. This could be rebuy. This could be hourly. This could be inverse as target. So there's a lot of hourly potential targets here. So you would like, if we wanted to add them all, actually, let's just do that. Let's just literally add them all. Let's go here. There would be one here. There would be one here. There would be one here. Like you've got a lot of targets, at that point, you measure your hourly for the shorts, like 67%, too much. 49%, too much. Move straight up here to trend. Like, what does that look like? 22%. That's not bad. That's not bad because at least you have the 4 hour backing. So like, this is a not bad entry. This is a not bad entry. You can also rebuy that as well. If you see that this hits and pulls back, you instantly buy that first inverse level, because you can see it's just failing to reach the 4 hour target. Or you hit the 4 hour target and you rebuy the reverse one. Those would be your two buy spots right here, or hit the one and create a little like whatever here and then break that. Like, then that would be two. Those would be your two rebuy spots. So really, again, understanding the master time frame gives you all pieces to this puzzle. Just to be very clear about that. You understand that master time frame, whatever's on setting the move, whatever time frame is active, whatever that master time frame is, that's what's controlling the entirety of all your rebuys. So whenever you're rebuying, that is the first thing you look at. What is the master level? So I can look for the separation between the levels or the time frames or the disconnect completely. Like, I like the word disconnect because it just, all these time frames, they connect together, and I always use that term disconnect. So this 5 minute level would have been a good rebuy. My next rebuy here is I want to see what happens next. Like, I can't rebuy the hourly if this 4 hour doesn't hit yet. So let's be very clear about that as well. So like, let's go create another scenario here. Okay. Delete that. We never reach our 4 hour target. So like, we never actually get to hit this. We instantly fall down and make the hourly trend. We cannot buy that hourly. If we haven't hit that 4 yet, we can only rebuy these 5 minute levels. You have to first hit that 4 to have it offset by this one. Because what's going to happen is like this. You're going to go, and let's just say you start sinking down right now. You create the hourly trend right here. Perfect. You go here and you go like this and you rebuy that hourly trend right there. So you rebought that. That's a scalp. That has to be a scalp to the 4, because it will get offset by its larger time frame. And realizing that you will always, and just hear this very well, you will always offset time frame up, which means if you buy an hourly, you should always be exiting your 4 unless you have some grander reason. And you will always break a move when you offset down. So you always sell when you offset up and break a move when you offset down. Very critical instructions. And I'll just explain that in case you don't understand that, or people like, okay, I hear you, but like, show me. You hit a 4 hour. If your time frame down offsets you, that breaks. If you, sorry, I said that the wrong way. If you have a 4 hour hit and your hourly holds you, this is breaking. If you have, what's the best way I can say this with the clearest English? You hit your time frame higher and your time frame that's lower holds, it breaks the move down. If you hit your time frame lower, you should always be exiting your target higher. So your higher time frame offsets your lower time frame, and your lower time frame offsets your higher. It's how we see Pandora's box breaking. It's how we see mirrors breaking, et cetera, et cetera. So then it gets into this thing where you have a 4 hour hit. This is good. It's going to completely destroy the move because the master time frame is telling you that you have to get above that level. If this holds and rejection as a target comes through, you will then only break back above this if you hold your hourly time frame, right? If you do hold your hourly time frame, you should be in a long, right? You should definitely be in a long. If it hits and starts to create a 15-minute time frame, rebuy that 15, rebuy that trend if it starts to hold. If you then go and hit your 4 hour again, you need to be exiting that trade and playing the short to see if it can break the hourly. If it does break the hourly, you're already in the right position. If it holds that hourly again, you're in the same exact thing. You're triggering out of the trade and you're getting back into a long to break over, because this or this will collapse and completely destroy the move because they are connected time frames. And as soon as they disconnect, the move breaks. So that is how you engineer your rebuys. Step number 1 is you look for your master time frame. Your master time frame will tell you what you need to gain next. So just I'm going to walk through this and put like a list on the screen. So 1, and I'm going to make this much smaller because this is way too big here. So let's go 16. Yeah, that's good. Number 1, identify master time frame. Okay. That's the first start that allows you to engineer your trade. For some reason, I'm feeling like, okay, I was worried it wasn't going to left align. I thought it was going to center line. For some reason, it just feels like, I think it's because this dot is in the middle of the screen here, but that's fine. Okay, number one, identify your master time frame. In our case, it's a daily, right? Number two, identify the target, which number two is going to be one time frame down. One time frame down. The reason it's one time frame down is because that would be like hitting a 4-hour hold level against the daily hold. So if rejection as a target executes, and then we can even put an extra set in here that says rejection as a target, as because this is an often spot where you see this is rejection as a target. This is often where you're going to see rejection as a target execute because of this exact reason. You hit the daily, the 4-hour level holds, because that is a 4-hour level. You're just holding it on the bottom side of it without gaining it. You're likely going to lose your daily unless you can now offset by holding the hourly against the 4. So that's the only equate, like this attacks this and this offsets this. If you start moving down and you have a daily, your daily will then offset this. You see what I mean? So you are going to just be constantly ringing between timeframes, back and forth, just juggling between them, or just kind of constantly doing that. So number one, identify your master time frame or the largest time frame. This is why we always work time frame down. Well, one of many reasons why we always work time frame down. Number two, identify your target one time frame down. Now, if you identify one time frame down, it gives you where the move is breaking and where the move is holding. So if you hit it like this and move down, the move is breaking down, right? If you hit it and move up, you have your perfect shield, perfect trigger to show you what needs to be in succession for that trade to happen, right? And then there's nuances where you can create origins. So this might not be the greediest 4-hour level. Maybe you have like an origin down here that's a 4, or a 1-hour origin, sorry, I should say, that acts as a 4. And that's the greediest level. That's for everybody to do and to find that information as it creates in the moment, right? So that's that. We can take the replayer tool off here as we're watching as we're doing this. Okay. Number two, identify the target one time frame down, and that gives you a splitting of expectations. Okay. Number three, identify rebuys based on number two's one time frame down, just like we did in this exercise. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. I'm sure there's a much better way to write that out, but identify rebased buys based on number two's one time frame down. So that's really where you're going to see what can hold up this move. So like if the 4-hour rejects, we need some kind of 1-hour level. And if we get that 1-hour level, we're likely going long and breaking number two. So number two breaks number one, number three breaks number two. So that's a good way to think about it. And then number four, oh, wait, we don't need a number 4 here. We aren't using number 4s anywhere. So you identify rebuys, then you're identifying exits. And identifying exits is based on your identified rebuys. So this list is cool because you start at number 1, number 2 dictates number 1, number 3 dictates number 2, and number 4 dictates number 3. Your exits are going to exist based on where you've identified the rebuys. So you're like this, targeting shields. You're targeting shields on number 4. So you're targeting number 3's shields on number 4. So whatever is the shield for number 4, that's where you're either targeting your exits. So if the shield executes, and we're going to talk about that for a second. If the shield executes, you are exiting your trade. If the shield doesn't execute, you can stay in your trade. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Number 4, identifying exits. Target number 3 shields. So we're going to walk through this once again. Daily level goes for the 4. The 4 is trying to create the 1. We don't have any 1-hour levels yet, but let's just assume it's going to be this level here. Let's assume that we hit the number 4. Let me pull this onto the screen so people can see it while I'm doing the example. Okay. We'll just put it like right here for a second. So we hit number 4 here. Okay, good. We have actually, this is going to be a level here. few seconds. There we go. It's actually a level. So this is good because this is like a free 4 hour level if you can get rebuys down here. Um, but with skepticism, because the move still isn't in succession, it could just create 4 more blue candles and break the move. So with a little bit of skepticism here, we need to watch this move. But okay, we hit the 4 hour, right? That's fine. We then fall. We create the 5 minute level here. We hit that. We hold that. We make the hourly. So we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We have an hourly offsetting a 4 now. We're in the trade. Okay. Now we need to look at the 4 hour shields. So where do the shields exist on the 4 hour? And that's where you see where your target has to be hit. So now what you need to do is you need to go and find your next time frame. So you have 4 hour here, deep dives to the 15, or sorry, to the hourly. Where's the combo to the 15? Combo to the 15 is here. So I'm going to move this to green, right? And where's its combo level to the 5? It doesn't have one, but there's also a 15-minute level potentially right here. So we have a potential 15-minute level, and we actually have a potential hourly target here. So we can actually bleed into this next range in the current space of this move, because we can actually create those. This is going to be 15. It's not an hourly. No, it's not an hourly. So you have an hourly here that could combo this part of the range, because now all of a sudden you're now a part of this range. We won't worry too much about that, but we do need to worry just about like, okay, where can this thing be? So you have this here. I won't. Yeah, you actually have to include this. I wasn't going to, but you actually have to. So this is your hourly, because you've got a 15 here. Let's make sure we do all the proper work here. You've got a 4 hour here. You've got an hourly here. Yep. You've got a 15-minute here, which I'm assuming will now actually be a 5-minute. Oh, yeah, because there was a 5-minute here. You got a 15-minute here. You got a 15-minute here. Oh, we have to make that orange. And then your next 5-minute is actually right here. So this would be my final target. This would be my final target to say, here, let's just make this clear here. This would be my final target to say, you've got 4 hour, 5-minute, 15. That disconnects those 2 time frames right there. So you've got a 5-minute, 15, 5. So that's disconnected right there, because there's no more combo levels below this. You can't go here. Otherwise, you would just be going from your 5 to your hourly. This is the combo here. So you've got 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, 5, a disconnect to these levels back here. So if you start targeting these levels back here, I would stay in my trade longer term. This is the shield that protects the trade. So if you enter your trade on that hourly and you see this holds you back like this, you need to exit that trade. You need to exit that trade and look for either a rebuy on the bottom side based on the next set of events, or just head short and sit short until you break this, or hold the move on the opposing side, right? So now you can really see where you have 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, 5, and then it disconnects back up. So this is the shield. This is the shield for the trade. That's the greediest target. So if you were here and you wanted to take profits, it would be a decent spot. Like if you were sitting here saying, I am going to scalp this trade, yeah, like it's a good spot. You make 1.5%. If it doesn't hold though, expect this thing to blow over the top of this and just, create all the backside information up there. Maybe have one final test here, but you really wouldn't be exiting the trade, because I think you'd be actually just going like this, because you would hit this target and you would actually use this as, I'm just going to call it an inverse shield right now. That's not a thing. This is just like a future shield. So you entered here, you broke above this stuff, and then you would, if you exited here, you would rebuy here. So you either use this as a shield from the long here. So this is either your shield to the long here, or you simply just exiting here with a rebuy here. So then you can at least identify the proper rebuy as well. Now, there could be hourly information that makes more sense to rebuy, but from what I'm seeing here, this is kind of like what you need to do, right? Like this looks like a good spot to rebuy. There could be hourly information and so forth, but this looks like a good spot to rebuy. We're going to delete all that. And this is really where you need to be thinking about rebuying as you're looking at these trades. Is like kind of this list here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste this list for us like that, and put this in the Discord server.